Over there!
We can't let him get away!
Too late, fool! You will not escape! Us? What in the name of... Gary?
I'm sorry, okay? I hadn't prepped this part of the dungeon yet. I haven't had the time.
But you don't suffer from this, do you? For more than 2 years, you've helped us to enhance our tools, grow our map libraries, and given us a warm welcome in the community of map makers and game masters. We are honored to be part of this community, and all we can say is thank you.
Bring it on.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of our weekly DungeonFog community stream. My name is Till and I am wearing a pirate hat. Yeah, I actually don't really know why, because my daughter just ran in before the stream started and she said, Dad, you need to wear the pirate hat. And I was like, yeah, but why? I never got an answer. She just left and she said, I have to wear it. I'm not even sure where that comes from, to be honest. She might have found that in the basement. Because it's filthy. But well, my daughter made me to wear a pirate hat, so I'm going to wear a pirate hat today. Yar, let's go plundering today. Also, I have played around with the audio setup, so the synchronization between the video and the audio should be much better than before. Let me know if I need to do some adjustments, if I'm too loud or too silent, and I can readjust while we are here. So, hello Libitian, hi channel Your Inner Chocolate, welcome, and Forecast as always, hi to you as well. It's our community stream, which means we're talking about DungeonFog mainly, we're talking about all the stuff that has happened in the past week. It's freaking hot in here. It's so hot in Austria at the moment. And wearing a hat is interesting. So I'm not sure if I can keep my promise to my daughter to wear the hat the full stream, but I will do my best. Yeah, so DungeonFog, what has happened? Well, first of all, we are about to finish, so on Friday we are about to finish our office relocation. This has been going on for quite a while, mainly because of the pandemic. We realized that we haven't been using our office at all, or to a very minimal extent over the past year. But we were still paying rent for the office, so we decided that it is probably a good call to just quit the office in terms of the office space and wait until let's say the work environment in Austria is back to normal, where you can go to an office, sit together and work together without being forced to wear a mask in the office. So when everyone is vaccinated and yeah, and so we had to clear the office, which is... It's always a sentimental moment, because we just did the calculation today, we have been 4.5 years in this office. And it was the longest that we have ever stayed in one place over the course of, if you remember, if you know, that I have had a web agency before we started DungeonFog. We moved the agency quite a few times from office space to office space. Yeah, I'm rolling for Constitution. I'm already starting to roll for Constitution saves internally, because it's pretty hot down there. So yeah, it's bidding farewell to your office is always feeling weird. But we've cleaned it out today. I actually have the old office sign. I have it now here. It still has the old logo, so it would have been replaced anyways. But this is going to go up on a wall somewhere here around, so it's going to be a reminder of our first corporate sign. Thank you, Kyle. It is a fine hat. I wish it would not be over 30 degrees in here, Celsius in here. Then it might be a little bit more comfy. Mhm. Also, it's soaking my sweat, so it's getting quite nasty. Well, however, yeah. Do you remember? Who remembers the old logo? Look at that. That was the first DungeonFog logo that we had. So yeah, time's flying by. So this is the old sign. There's going to be a new sign. We're also having an interim office space that is going to be set up over the summer, but it's not going to be heavily used apart from a few meetings. Damien says it sounds like you need to work AC into the studio budget. Probably you're right. But I think we better save the money for the new office and then have an AC in the new office. Yeah, Damien remembers the old logo. It's still, I think it's still somewhere on the website. In some places, we're still constantly running across places where we've put the old logo and we're like, oh, we need to replace it here and there. So, that is basically Thomas, Herbert, and I were, you know, vacuum cleaning the last bits and pieces of the office, making sure that nothing is left behind, locking it up. On Friday, I will hand back the keys, and then we will be looking for a new office location in fall. Because until then, it is still uncertain of are we going to find an office where we can all come back together, or is it still restricted with mask wearing, where we've all grown accustomed to working at home now. So for meetings, it's nice, but we can do meetings in a pub as well. So, in a pub. I don't know how in Vienna it's very custom to go into a coffee shop, but we're not calling it a coffee shop. We're calling it a cafe house. And that's where you usually sit together and sip a coffee and just do meetings. So that will probably be something that we will be doing over summer. And in fall, we will then find a new office that we can move in. I think I've already told you that we have a new team member. Nicole has joined our team as our social media expert. And she's working with Bodhi and myself on doing social media activity, tweets, posts. So you might have seen more activity on our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And that's thanks to her, because we are amazed by what she's already doing. And she has a giant list of ideas what she wants to do in the future. So it's going to be helpful advice, tips, tricks, recommendations, stuff like that, and you will find that in our social media feeds. So welcome, Nicole. What else happened? Well, Thomas is currently working on the search feature. So when you go to My Maps, which, by the way, there's an interesting bit. Let me finish my sentence first. When you go to My Maps and you have a lot of maps, there's no search bar yet. And we're going to change that, I think, next week, when there will be a search and filter system where you can search through all your maps and all your folders by the name of the map, the author that you've cloned the map from, the creation date or the update date, the keywords you've assigned, or the description text. So if you're missing a map and you can't remember where you've put it, wait until next week, because then the search bar will be in the My Maps section. So the interesting thing was, we were joking about, or basically it started as a joke, then went into an investigation, and then into an amazing finding, because we were joking about that Thomas is basically building the search bar for me because it was a running gag in the office that I might be the one with the most maps in the DungeonFog account. And while we had the discussion, I was like, well, how about we check and see how many, like, what's the distribution among users? How many people have 200 maps, 300 maps, 400 maps? So we know how to fine-tune the search results and how to kind of do the user experience testing for that. And I'm only on position 4 of the person who has the most maps on DungeonFog. Actually, and I'm having 670 maps created. The person, I don't know who the name is, and I'm not going to tell that publicly, but the person with the most maps on their account, on their DungeonFog account, has over 1,000 maps, which is mind-blowing. I really didn't see that coming. I was absolutely amazed thinking about the fact that there is someone out there who has created or cloned over 1,000 maps in DungeonFog. That's a good question, Damien. Is Guy Sklenders from How to Be a Great GM, does he have more maps than I do? I honestly don't know. I know that the ranking is, I'm on position 4 with 670 maps, I believe, something like that. And then there are 2 people around 800 maps, and then 1 person with over 1,000 maps. And below that, there are probably about 200 to 300 people ranking somewhere between 200 and 400 maps. And then with over 50 maps, it's getting somewhere around 600 people. So I was really surprised because I felt like, as proud as I am for DungeonFog, I felt like most people will have, I don't know, 10, 20 maps, and they will be like, yeah, we're gaming eventually, I'm using a DungeonFog map to click it together. I was blown away to see how many people have vast amounts of maps on their account. And I was also surprised that no one ever really complained about not having a search feature. So that is now happening finally. I'm blown away and proud of the community and the people who are creating so many maps. And B, I'm happy that we are releasing the search feature next week. There's another interesting question from Forecaster. Did you compare cloned versus original maps? I had the same question, but because it was, Thomas said he would have to write a separate, how do you call it, script? What are you called? I can't remember. Whatever. He would a search query. He would have had to write a search query, and then it was like, no, let's continue the conversation. We know now where we are. So I don't know. The short answer to that is we didn't then go deeper into that. But it would be interesting to learn more about that and probably publish some kind of, anonymized data on that to tell you a little bit about how many maps are cloned, how many maps are being originally created, how many maps get updated over time. So there's a lot of statistics that we could create out of that, more or less just for the fun of knowing those statistics. But knowing that a search tool is needed because people have so many maps and they will need to search them I think was a valuable lesson for us. Stats for nerds, exactly. Infographics, yeah. Oh man, I love infographics. I actually had a good friend in my college that later became a very professional, very well-known designer for infographics. So you can do so much with infographics. And she's quite famous now for in Austria. She's a very well-known designer. If you're having a company, I don't know, annual report, and you need perfectly designed, well-structured, multi-layered infographics, then she's the one to go for. Okay, guys, I'm dying under this hat, so sorry, Isabel, das war's. Okay. Yes, I completely lost track. There you go, the search bar. Herbert has started to work on the new databases to make prop templates and room templates manageable through the dashboard account, so you can see all your prop templates and room templates, and you can reorganize them in the dashboard, which is a precursor to what is then happening afterwards, and that is that you can share those templates in their own space in the public library, which I think is going to be extremely helpful, because I've seen people doing pumpkin fields and other stuff in on Discord. I've seen screenshots posted. So if you have a cool prop template that you want to share, I think people will very much appreciate that. Take that and integrate that into their maps. Now it's not blocking the on-screen chat anymore, and if I move a little bit, it will not block it anymore. Okay. So that was that. Let me quickly go through my checklist. I have been talking about the moving the office or leaving the office, search, hello and welcome to the DungeonFog. I keep forgetting what I'm talking about. Yeah, right, and the public template stuff that is currently being worked on. And now for the last part of today, because if you want to know more about Deus, check out next week's Tuesday stream, because that is going to be our next mapping it out. And I can already promise I'm testing it at the moment. I have some amazing new features to show. It has to do with first basic integration of the layer system. It has to do with advanced prop placement features. And of course, it has to do with undo and redo. So if you're interested in Deus news, wait for next week. Then Guy will be back, and together with Guy, we will dive into all the new Deus stuff and we will talk about that. Today, we're going to look at the GM nodes, because the GM nodes are also making great progress. And when I say great progress, I really mean great progress. So let's switch screen for a second and let's have a look at the GM nodes and where we are at the moment. So first of all, for those of you who've missed the announcement or the news or everything else that we've posted in the past couple of days, there is a new lighting system out there. So you can now create directional lighting in DungeonFog, and you have some fancy new toggles that allow you to, where you are, there you are, that allow you to manually, quickly readjust lighting, light source, and as easy as that, create a directional lighting. But when it comes for GM nodes, Andy has been working on the GM nodes quite a lot, and there are only a few things left until we can really release that to you. So first of all, we have extended our menus here, so we have a lot of new menu stuffs up here. This bar will get an update. This is still work in progress. The bar, go away. The styling bar, the font styling bar is still not finished. This will get an update. That is work in progress. But we've already updated all the content blocks here. And we've done some very interesting stuff that I'm going to show you now. So if you want to drop a map element, or let's do a complete room section for now, we could say, let's put the Murder on the Road, which is the name of the map. Let's put that here. And thank you. and it will put the name of the map and the preview image and a little button, a little area, text area to describe your map down here. You might have already seen that. So let me quickly grab some text here and paste it. What we have changed, if you remember one of the previous streams, was when you selected something, you had those little, what we call bubble menus that were kind of interfering with the interface. So Bodhi and Andy sat down and redesigned that in a completely different way, which I think is amazingly helpful. So if I want to make this one, if I want to format it by any means, I can use the regular shortkeys. I could press Ctrl B to make it bold, do that again to not make it bold. And I can format all of that using the hotkeys or the markdown commands that you need. But what you can also do is you could select text and then right click. And here you have now, very similar to other tools that you might know, you now have all those formatting options as a right-click menu at your disposal, which I think is really helpful because, for example, let me create a new page down here and let's drop a text in here. And now let's create a table. Oh, right, I need to toggle the borders. That will help us to see stuff. So are the gem nodes built with Markdown? As far as I know, there are Markdown commands possible. I'm not sure if it is built out of Markdown. I think it is built so the let's call it the text engine, the text editor that is running behind that, I think is capable of doing HTML as well as Markdown. I might stand corrected. That is not my expertise. So if you want to know more about that, I would recommend to go to our Discord server. That's at DungeonFog.com/Discord, and just ask in the dev chats, because I'm sure Andy or Larsus or Bodhi are around and they can answer that correctly. So this is, let's call this 1D4 because it's going to be a roll table, so you can adjust your tables here. This is the effect. And now we can select that and create a header out of it. And then we can say 1, 2, let's insert a row below. 3, and let's insert a row below, and 4, and then we can say the effect is wearing a pirate hat, wearing Lysop's pirate goggles, wearing no hat, and sweating a lot. Whatever this roll table effect is. So if you want to have an additional description, you could always insert a column over here, readjust it a little bit, and write some more text here as well. And I believe I could go in there and, oh no, wait, I can't format it through right menu here, but I can still make it bold like that. So that is what Andy is currently working on. It is, it's making quite good progress. It's still like, it is a very complex tool by the means of there are so many areas that you have to readjust, reinvestigate, test, reconfigure. Like for example, if I would like to format this text area up here, I can go to formatting and you will see that we have a ton of stuff that we can do with it, but not all of this is actually helpful for this specific area. So we're going to need to revisit every segment and define what settings are useful or not useful. Which reminds me, that something else that has happened is when I open my wizard, I can now pick, let's create an empty one. I can now pick different page format sizes so that the PDF is already optimized for that. This is almost finished, but there are still some adjustments. I'm not sure. I think something with bleed adjustments for printing that are still being added at the moment, as well as we just have discussed whether or not we want to do a no page layout, so a very web-based layout where you don't have single pages, but you have just one endless page where you can edit. If we want to have something like that in there as well. So the wizard is almost finished. It's slowly getting finished on all ends. I just want to show you something which I find amazing. And that is, again, just for fun and for testing, Andy has created a new style, because here on the format you will be able to select different styles like fantasy, sci-fi, or like this one. And if you can't really pin down what style this is, all I need to do is I need to go in there, edit a text, which is captains. Come on. Log. And now I'm going to make this a heading 1. And there you go. Isn't that amazing? I love it. I love it. I'm so proud of it. It's Star Wars, exactly. So let's just for the sake of it, this is going to be, let's make this, can I do this before I do anything? Subtitle, let's try. Star date. What star date is today? 47634.44, whatever. So this is our star date, and let's add some more text here. And as always, you can reformat stuff like that. Like you could go in and say, okay, I want this to have a top padding, so there's a little bit more here, and a bottom padding, so we can readjust it like that. I can make the image. I think I can. Yes, I think I can make the image smaller. I'm not sure. I might not be able to do that. What is that? I think that is disconnect. I've broken it. No, I haven't. Upload finished. So now I've created an image, and I think, no, I can't adjust it at the moment. So technically speaking, so there still needs to be styling for the tables. That isn't working at the moment. What I actually wanted to show was that I could use an image. Let's go for my Stone Titan here. Make it a little bit smaller, add some text, and then I should be able to set the Stone Titan to layout float left, exactly, and give it some padding. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And by the way, I'm not sure if that is working already. I really don't know if that is working already. That is weird. Okay, but I'm fine. Oh, it's still floating. I understand. Let's make this a little bit smaller then. Woohoo! Mini Titan. What is, I have never clicked on that actually. Let's make it a 2-column. Build. There you go. Wow. So that is going to be like, I believe when we're finished, there's going to be a full-fledged text layout tool that you can work with. And I can already tell you that we have had a big conversation on how to continue with the GM nodes, because right now every node is attached to the map that you've created, but we already know that we want to decouple that so you can create it the other way around, where you're creating maps, where you're creating nodes, and then you can pick from all your maps and say, this map should be in the node, this map should be in the node, this map should be in the node, so that you can actually write adventures over several maps. Which also means that, as a little teaser for you, we are going to open a new position in probably somewhere around late summer, where Andy is going to, he's looking for assistance, because it's going to be very complicated for Andy to maintain and work on the nodes while he's also maintaining and working on the editor. So we said, okay, this is a good opportunity to ask someone who is well experienced with JavaScript, Grapes.js, generally speaking, JavaScript frameworks. And there is going to be a new position open where this person will assist Andy in continuing to evolve and develop the node system over the next couple of months or years, depending on how much requests you are throwing at us and improvement ideas for that. There is a question here. Kyle, do you play the Modifius D20 game, the Star Trek game? No, I haven't. I haven't played it. I would love to, though. I would love to play a Star Trek game because I'm a big Star Trek nerd. And I would really like to play one of those. I think that is one of the games where I would actually be even willing to be a player. Just for living the dream of being in the Star Trek universe. It's the level, it can't be resized, I don't think. Yes, Blasses, I know. The Fledging Gamer just joined and says, hello, the Fledging Gamer. Right, did I forget something about the editor? Let's switch the format. So, unfortunately, our sci-fi isn't well layouted at the moment. This is just placeholder. But we are actually going to, I hope that we're going to release the GM notes with at least, it's going to be definitely a sci-fi styling for your notes, not only the galaxy trip, as we're calling it, is going to be one of the styles that we're going to offer. There's going to be a fantasy style. There's definitely going to be something like a Cthulhu investigation, dark horror thing. And it's not going to be part of the first release because I believe that this is more complicated and we don't want to lose more time on releasing the GM notes. But eventually there's going to be a little editor where you can upload your own, where you can create, save and upload, as well as share your own styling. The timeline, looking at the timeline. If I remember correctly, we had a meeting about that yesterday. Andy said that he would like to have 2 weeks to finish the stuff on his list, which then gives us a week of final testing and review. So it's definitely not going to be end of June, but it's going to be mid-July when we are going to release the GM notes, but then in a very polished, clean way, which, by the way, also means that Andy has already started talking to World Anvil about the World Anvil integration. So that will be part of the release as well, so that you can, it's not doing anything, it's a placeholder at the moment, but similar to the room section, you can click on World Anvil, and if your account is connected and you have a World Anvil account, you will then be able to access all your articles there and just simply drop the article from your World Anvil page into here, which means that if you can use DungeonFog, for example. I mean, World Anvil is still the best place to organize all your nodes and your world information and all that stuff. But if you want to create a neat little PDF out of that, that is well layouted, then you could use DungeonFog to do so. Or if you are writing your nodes to a specific map and you want to play those nodes, and you want to inject some of the World Anvil lore into those nodes, then you can do so as well. And I believe that is it. Let's drop a stat block here. I think I've shown you the stat block last time. There are still requirements for placeholder images that haven't happened yet. So this is how a stat block would look like. I think there is still some offset missing. This is not going to work. I knew that this is not going to work. We need to do a margin top here. Yeah. That is, yeah, I can see. Sorry, apologies. I'm not. Yeah, I can see that we have a few bots here. We're ending the stream anyway, so we are just kindly ignoring them for now. So in regards to the padding top, because it makes me unhappy, let's do that here. And wait, the image. Oh no, where's the image? Oh right, that's a very neat thing, is you can select all the stuff here as well. So I can do a padding top for you as well. Okay. And I can make the image a little bit bigger. I think it's almost, it already feels very, very finished. It's just fine tuning and readjustments that we need to do. And then we're going to hand that to you. And I hope you will have a lot of fun playing around with that. For this week, what is planned for this week? Well, first of all, if you haven't seen, I think it was last week, Wednesday, we have released the new asset pack from Keora, the Restless Sands. You can find that in the marketplace. There's going to be, I think maybe this week, I'm not sure, but there are coming a few more asset packs to the marketplace within the next couple of days. So either this week or next week. Because I can see the question that are stat blocks Evray compatible. Currently, right for now, we just have the D&D's 5e stat block that you can create. But honestly, you can do your own stat blocks quite easily, because all you need to do is you go to those blocks and you basically create, like, let's say you have a cell section here. Then you want to have 2 sections, which I can easily, but I think I can, no. How do I do that? By duplicating. So you can create those sections for every stat that you're tracking. Then you could create a section below and a section above. I don't know how the stats are looking, but let's say I want to have 2 rows of this section. Then I just duplicate the second row. Now I have all of those. And you can, with a few clicks, you can build the stat block you like. The only problem we currently have, and we are aware of that, is you can't save it somewhere. So this is actually something that we're going to address quite soon, is a way to make sure that you can reuse those snippets that you have created somewhere. But it is not going to be first release. It's going to be one of the alterations of the GM nodes after the release, because we want to get it finished and out to you, so we can finally start working on the Wolves and Paths tool. Yes, exactly. Templating is something that we will find, that will find its way into here as well. Right. This week, what is happening this week? I've promised you a few weeks ago, I said we're going to look at the campaign manager and how you can use canopy levels to create an image on your Fog of War in DungeonFog instead of Black Fog of War. I haven't forgotten about that, and we will be doing that this Thursday. So we will be doing that on Thursday in our regular Welcome to the Madness, and we're going to build a little map that we're going to explore from the player's view and the GM's view, and we're going to look at all the options that the Fog of War has. So I can show you how you can create a roof of a building and tree canopies, and while the players move through them, it actually doesn't create a black fog of war, but it removes from the canopy image that you're applying to that. So if you're interested and you want to see how that works in DungeonFog, join us on Thursday. It's going to be at 6:30 UTC, 6:30 PM UTC here and in the DungeonFog channel. And apart from that, I think we're through for today. So thank you very much for your attention and your questions. I will now take a cold shower. And I wish you, as always, a good day, a good afternoon, a good evening, and happy map making, guys. See you. Bye.